Confusion is a veil over the power of light, just as fear is a veil that hides the light from you. Sometimes confusion seems strong. This is because the power of light is strong. Realizing this is helpful, but it seems to fall short of your goal when you feel you need to know what to do. I'm going to stop there for just a second. I understand, I believe, what Spirit is talking about here. All of my spiritual life, which has been like since 2004, all of my conscious spiritual life, meaning, since I've chosen the path knowingly, Spirit has told me that when you're in confusion, when you're in fear, when you're upset, do nothing, right? Just wait, observe, and let this pass. When you're back in peace, right? When you're in peace, when you're in joy, then make decisions, then do whatever you feel to do. Well, even though Spirit has told me that over and over, sometimes it takes a bit of time before we really fully realize the wisdom in what we're being told. And so what happens is that not only me and Laurent, but I know that many people make this same error. So let's go ahead and put on our glasses and look at this error. We'll be in confusion, and while we're in confusion, we want guidance. We want to know what to do. And somehow when we want to know what to do while we're in confusion, it just makes the confusion bigger or makes the confusion more frightening. Well, that has never been Spirit's guidance to me, to find guidance while in confusion. The guidance has always been to wait, to do nothing, to wait until the confusion passes, to do nothing, to give it no more energy. So that's just something for us to look at is, let's not go looking for guidance during moments of confusion, moments of upset, moments of fear. Let's practice our rest, accept, and trust then, right? Let that pass, and then our guidance will come. Okay, let's go back to what Spirit says here again, starting at the top of the paragraph. Confusion is a veil over the power of light, just as fear is a veil that hides the light from you. Sometimes confusion seems strong. This is because the power of light is strong. Realizing this is helpful, but it seems to fall short of your goal when you feel you need to know what to do. I ask you to look closely now at why you feel you need to know what to do. If you look closely with me, you will see that your desire to know comes from a belief that you could decide wrongly or that you could be right. And you want to be right because to be wrong is to be the sinful Son of God. Now this is an error, again, that many of us make, so let's put our glasses back on. Many of us make the mistake of believing that we need to know Spirit's guidance, and we need to follow Spirit's guidance, and we need to make choices according to Spirit's guidance, or we are bad. That is an error thought. And this is the thought the Spirit is looking at with us. In fact, let's go ahead and move on to the next paragraph. Spirit says, if you look at this slowly in the mind with me, so again, make sure you have your glasses on. Can everybody see? Turn on the light. Make sure you can see. If you look at this slowly in the mind with me, you will see this belief goes very deep. You will feel the strong grip it seems to have on your chest and in your heart. You believe very deeply that you could be wrong, and in this belief, you are afraid to move. Now I'm remembering, what it seems like Laurent and I, in form, he was in Paris, I was in North Carolina, we're going through, you could say, two different things at the same time. And we both had confusion about, again, what to do. We were in confusion, and we had confusion about what to do. I don't remember Laurent's story exactly. I kind of have a vague remembering of it. Seems like it had something to do with a friend, but I could be wrong. Yeah, it did. Okay, I'm sure he remembers his story. I don't remember it specifically, but you had something there. This is back in that time, when I had someone calling me a lot. And what the person was asking for was really not appropriate. Basically what the person wanted was a sexual relationship. In the beginning, a sexual relationship with me. When Laurent and I joined together, and of course I made it very clear that I was in a relationship with someone else, this person was willing to move into a sexual relationship with both of us. The calls that were coming, yeah, you don't remember that? Yeah, that's true. The calls that were coming often, multiple times a day. The emails were coming even more frequently than that. And I was becoming very, very afraid. I think I talked to you guys a little bit about this before. Hold on, I'm getting looked at. Yes, ma'am?
I can hear you. I'm very angry now.
Oh, she says she can hear us. Okay, anyway, back to what I was talking about. I was very confused because I was listening to what I'm going to call spiritual ego. That was telling me that I needed to be kind and loving towards all of my brothers. Now, I didn't have any confusion that I should have sex with this person. But I did have confusion about the fact that I should not have returned the emails and should not have answered the phone. I was returning the emails and answering the phone to say no. To say no, but to say no because it seemed like... I don't know how else to say this. It just seemed like I was doing something wrong by not answering the phone and not returning the emails. And as I was going through this, the situation was getting worse and worse and worse. And I was very confused about what to do. I think I told you a story a couple weeks ago, and this is in that same time frame, remember, where it appeared that this person threatened to kill Laurent and I. Remember I told you, later I understood it was a misunderstanding, but he said he wanted to blow us away. He had guidance to blow us away. So this is still in that story. I've already told you guys the end of the story. You know that later it was healed. But this is prior to the healing. Okay, this is prior to the healing. So this was my confusion. At this time I have these calls coming all of the time, these emails coming all of the time. I'm very afraid, and I don't know what to do. And I am afraid. I'm very afraid. What really complicates it is that if I make the wrong choice about what to do, I'm doing something really bad. Like I have to know my guidance. I have to know, is my guidance answer the phone or is my guidance not answer the phone? And it's a very simple thing. You pick up a phone or you don't. But in the confusion of the mind, when you believe that Spirit only guides in one way, and if you pick the wrong way, you've done something terrible, you've committed some sin, well, you can be paralyzed. And that's what Spirit is talking about. I was at the height of confusion here. I was paralyzed. Do I answer the phone, not answer the phone? And in my mind, it's a sin if I make the wrong choice. Okay, let me get a drink and then we'll go back. If you look at this slowly in the mind with me, you will see this belief goes very deep. That again is the belief that I could make a right choice or a wrong choice, right? You will feel the strong grip it seems to have on your chest and in your heart. You believe very deeply that you could be wrong, and in this belief, you are afraid to move. Yeah, and Laurent is describing it as walking on eggshells. Spirit continues. Stop here, looking directly at your fear. Again, check your glasses, make sure you have them on. Stop here, looking directly at your fear. Forget for a moment the particular decision that needs to be made. Look only at the belief that needs to be let go. With the problem forgotten and the belief clearly in view, what do you know is best for you to do now. You do know it is best to step away from the problem of form and take time to look solely at the mind. So Spirit is saying, at least to me, again I don't remember the specifics of Laurent, but I know he had something very similar going on at the same time. The Spirit is saying, quit thinking about whether you should answer the phone or not answer the phone. Quit thinking about that. Step back and look at the belief that if you make the wrong choice, you're guilty. That's what I want you to look at. I want you to look at the belief that if you make the wrong choice, you're guilty. Because that error is adding to your confusion here. It's keeping you paralyzed. He continues, when you step away to look solely at the mind, there will be a lot to see. So we're going to see even more as we start looking at this point. Your role is to look at it, and to look at it with me. There will be temptations to judge. Watch those temptations pass by. You will want to think and feel confusion. Notice what you want and let it pass by. You will want to fix things and change things and know again what to do. You are noticing the thinking that goes on in the mind. Now in this case, it seems to me like when I was working with this, I was sitting on my bed. So what this is saying to me is set back on your bed. Set back, lean up against a pillow, and just watch the mind's tricks. Don't do anything. Don't make any decisions. Just watch the mind's tricks. Watch the mind as it tries to tell you that if you answer the phone when you weren't supposed to, you're guilty, or if you don't answer the phone when you were supposed to, you're guilty. Watch that. Notice how much you want to judge yourself for not knowing what to do, for not knowing your guidance. Watch that. Notice that I'm asking you to just sit and watch your mind. Notice how much you want to think. Notice how much you want to analyze. Notice how much you might want to remember things from previous messages or A Course in Miracles or NTI and apply it here, but you're trying to do it all with thinking. Notice how much the mind doesn't want you to just sit and watch. Notice how it keeps trying to get you to think. Notice all the different ways it tries to get you to think. Start to pay attention that really the mind doesn't even care if you answer the phone or don't answer the phone. What the mind cares about is that you think. Notice that if it starts bringing one angle at you and you don't follow that angle, notice the mind comes in with a completely different angle. In fact, notice that sometimes the mind's angles completely conflict. If the mind starts telling you a story about why you should answer the phone and blah, 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 right, and you're guilty if you don't, and you don't buy that story, you say no and you let that go, pretty soon the mind comes in with the opposite story. You shouldn't answer the phone, blah, 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 and you're guilty if you do. Notice that the mind is just saying whatever the hell it can say in an attempt to get you to listen to it. Notice that that's what's really going on here. It wants, Laurent says, it wants your attention, your love, your light. And then he says the juice. And I believe he's referring to the juice of I am. Yes, which is the same as the power of light. In a conversation with Laurent, Mooji, whom now we've mentioned, and so he's a part of this teaching, Mooji referred to the juice of I am. He said everything runs on the juice of I am. That's the same as the teaching that Holy Spirit gave Laurent and I when he says everything runs on the power of light. Remember, he asked Laurent when he was in intense fear to notice just the intensity of the fear. Don't pay attention to the stories or what the fear was about, but notice how intense it was. Feel the intense fear, or it could be intense hatred. It doesn't matter. Feel the intensity and know that's the power of light. That's the intensity of light. That's the juice of I am. And like Laurent is saying here, that's what the ego wants. The ego wants your attention. The power of light from you. It wants your attention, the power of light. It wants the juice of I am. And it's just going to try everything. Now, if we're easy and we go for the first story that ego throws into our mind, that's cool for ego. But if we're trying to observe, if we're trying to sit back on the pillows on the bed and not give the juice of I am to the thinking mind, it's going to keep trying. And it's going to try different stuff. And it's going to try harder. And it's really going to take a lot of will or willingness on our part to just watch. It'll even tell us just watching is not enough, right? If you just watch this, it'll never heal. You have to do something more. You have to do something more. It doesn't tell you what. It just wants you to get scared about the fact that you have to do something more. It wants you to give that idea your juice through fear, right? But Spirit is asking us just to sit back and watch, notice, observe. And if we do that, we will begin to see exactly what the mind is up to. And if we see clearly with our glasses, properly focused and the light, shining well, if we see what the mind is really up to, we actually then also increase our willingness not to give it the juice of I am. Okay, so going back to the message then. I'm going to read the last paragraph again, and then I'll move forward. When you step away or lean back on your pillows to look solely at the mind, there will be a lot to see, which we've just talked about. Your role is to look at it, and to look at it with me. See that? That's your job. There will be temptations to judge. That's something you're just going to look at. Watch those temptations pass by. You will want to think and feel confusion. Notice what you want and let it pass by. Don't give it your juice. You will want to fix things and change things and know again what to do. Notice all of that, right? You are noticing the thinking that goes on in the mind. All right, now Holy Spirit continues.